We're going to start our final day of presentations. The first one is from the Division of Information and Operations, or Information Services. David Miller will be our presenter, and you are going to be on page 129 of your budget binders. And with that, David, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Like Lindsay said, we'll be going over the DIO, or Information Services budget. If you know the manager very well, you know that he always saves the best for last, and to set expectations appropriately, I'm second to last. So, the mission within Information Services is making information available, making technology work. If you translate that, what that really means is that we're a business partner with about 42 different departments in the county, and our job is to hear what their needs are and try and figure out how we can make them successful. We do that through 6 different departments. That includes operations, business solutions, infrastructure, ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning, GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and administrative support. This is just an outline of how the division is organized. Overall, we have 98 positions. 72 positions of those are on the IT side, and about 25 positions are on the more traditional information side of printing, mailing, that type of thing. Our overall budget is about $12.6 million. And this pie graph just kind of outlines for you the big chunks of that budget, what makes it up. And obviously, like every other budget that you see, people is the biggest chunk at about 70%. We spend about 18% of our budget on vendor, hardware, and software maintenance contracts, about $2.3 million annually in total. And another big chunk, and this always surprised me when I first came over to DIO, is how much we spend on postage. And about 6.7% of our budget is spent every year just on postage. And this just outlines for your reference some of our budget history going back to 2011. And on the right side, it just kind of outlines for you some of the changes that have been experienced over time, if you'd like to reference that a little bit later. The first department that we'll be talking about is operations. This is the non-IT side, if you will, of DIO. The total budget request is $2.5 million. And essentially within this area, what we're delivering is your more traditional methods of communication. So this is where the print shop is, the mail room, the call center, and the paper records retention. And just to give you a little bit more detail on each of those individual service areas, for the call center, they address tax, appraisal, tag, elections, and CommCare clients' questions and concerns. Last year, they handled 328,000 calls. One of the big goals for us is to maintain a handle rate that's above 90%. What that means, handle rate, is that we get to the caller before they hang up and go on to something different. In the first quarter, we maintained that rate at 93.3%. Last year, we were above that rate, so that's a very good thing. And then below that, you can kind of see what the average wait times are. If you're on the tax side, average wait time is about 1 minute and 26 seconds. And if you're calling in regards to a CommCare question, about 29 seconds is your wait time. I'd say about every 3 weeks I see some type of compliment from the public regarding the call center in the sense of the type of quality of service that they received. I received one on Monday, and so I thought I just might read to you the comment that was stated, or the accolade for the call center. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know how spectacular Miss Roth is at her job. I travel most of the time for a living, and often local renewal type things can be very difficult while on the road. I had lost a tag while out of state, taken over my 92-year-old mother's financial affairs, and have a mobile office for the next few months. Tina was a huge help to me in guiding me through what needed to be done and my options for doing so while away from Kansas. I really appreciated the extra time and work she put in to assist me with all of my questions and issues. She is most certainly a credit to your team and the organization your team represents. And so that's a big component of the call center, to making sure that when the citizens do call, that we're providing the highest quality customer service that we can to them. Another service area is the print shop. They handle about 5.5 million prints every year. Average turnaround time for a print request is about 2.28 days. The mailroom, this is where the postage cost comes into play. They mail out about 1.2 million pieces of mail every year. And then the records, the physical records retention department under Doug King, they handle about 64,000 record units every year. And also within operations, because of all these IT contracts that we do have a contract administrator who's responsible for managing our contracts as well as doing some of the administrative support of procurement and purchases and payroll. So that individual is also included on the operations side. We do have a decision package that has been submitted on operations, and that's in relation to postage costs, and this is in regards to the upcoming presidential election. Historically, we see pretty significant variances from odd years to even years because of the gubernatorial and presidential elections, and the request is for $125,000. The predominant driver of that increased cost is the higher demand for advance voting by mail. The next department that we'll be visiting about is Business Solutions. Their overall budget is $3 million. This is the software and application side of IT. And essentially, they support the technical needs of our business partners by providing the software and the application and the internal development of solutions that they might need in order for them to be successful. Some of the service areas included within Business Solutions is application and interface management. So these are the application managers that are managing about 146 different applications. Some of these applications are very large, like Aumentum and the 911 CAD system. Aumentum is the tax system that the treasurer and the appraiser's office use. And other systems are fairly small. Overall, they had 956 tickets for requests of services in the first quarter. 47% of those were closed within 4 hours, and that's an important metric that we watch in the sense of how quickly are we able to satisfy those requests when folks are calling us for IT services. Another service area is database. They manage all the SQL databases and they patch those databases to make sure they remain secure. The county has 749 different databases with 88,000 unique data tables. This department also provides customized programming and development with about 4.8 employees. They had 174 programming requests in the first quarter. 23% were closed in 4 hours. As you would expect, it takes a little bit more to do those types of services than some of the other places. Some of the large applications that this area recently rolled out was the Register of Deeds record management system. That was an internally developed solution over the last 3 years that was rolled out late last year. They've worked hard on an upgrade to HRE Partners, the website. They've been working hard on ensuring that all of our public-facing applications, things that citizens can get to off of the website or are web-enabled, that they have the best practices in relation to IT security, and also a DA speedy trial solution for the district attorney's office. This area also provides internet services. Our webmaster is in this service area. Last year we had about 1.9 million visits to our website. That's an individual bringing up the website in one instance. It doesn't count if they should, once they're on the website, of clicking around and hitting different links. So that's a lot of hits to our website. They are working on implementing a content management system. What that means is that the website, working in partnership with communications, could be updated without the need for someone who has specialized training in HTML programming language. So it would give the Department of Communications the ability to update the website on their own, not necessarily with our help. And they do some of the updating on their own already, but when it gets more complex, usually that's when we step in. One thing I wanted to outline to you is also in partnership with communications. Last year they came to us and said, you know, David, when we try to hit the website on a mobile device, it's really hard to read. And we'd really like you to take a look and see what you can do. And what that relates to is responsive web design, and what that means is any device that you might hit a website on, it's rendered in a way in which is easy to understand and easy to read. And the staff tackled that. They looked at different options. They looked at different organizations that had already done that. They heard that a lot of places use consultants in order to achieve that, but we were able to do it on our own, so we didn't hire any consultants or any additional software costs in order to do it. And so today our website is mobile friendly. Back on April 21st, Google announced that they would be transitioning how they rank website queries based on whether a site was mobile friendly or not. So by doing this, we were able to help ensure that when people search on Google Sedgwick County continues to be one of the first hits that they see, and that's really important. Within Business Solutions, we operate a technology learning center. What that means is we do training on applications on the desktop like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and also do specialized training for some of the more advanced solutions like the tax system and Orion that the appraiser's office uses. Electronic document management, that's our on-base imaging system, electronic management of our documents. That system currently, and this blows my mind every time I look at it, possesses 1,075,000 scanned electronic documents, which in 2014, those were new documents scanned just in 2014. Overall, there's 11 million documents stored and 43.8 million total pages within that system of electronic documents. The next department we'll be talking about is infrastructure with a budget of $3.6 million. This is the hardware side of IT, the servers, the routers, the networks, along with the help desk and telecom, maintaining the telephone system that we all rely on. The service areas within this department include help desk and customer support analysts. So we've all, I'm sure, frequently used the help desk. There's 3 individuals that provide those types of services, and the remaining employees are the customer support analysts. They're the individuals when you call and you have an issue with your computer that can't be resolved virtually through the help desk. They come on site in order to resolve that issue for you. IT security and networking, this maintains they work to maintain the networking system that we all rely on, as well as trying to ensure that we're following IT security best practices to make sure that we mitigate as much as possible any potential for data breaches. Overall, we have 375 networks that connect 8,000 devices. And shoot, this isn't going to play. I thought it would. It was meant to be a video of a website, and this website is published by a cybersecurity firm in which you can hit the website and live they outline cyber attacks that are occurring across the globe. And the way they do that is that this cybersecurity firm has set up honey traps, if you want to call it that, where basically they just put servers out there that are unprotected, and hackers who might be trying to hack or do harm to someone will launch an attack off of that server. And the reason they do that is that so that they can hopefully capture the IP addresses of the bad guys, and then they use those IP addresses in order to help their clients deter cyber attacks. But this is published. My only point that I wanted to make in including this is that the issue of cybersecurity and IT security isn't something that's going away for us anytime soon. If you should pull up this map, what you'll see is most of the attacks are coming from overseas, and you would see them essentially hitting the United States. And that means for us that it's a focal point for us to stay very focused on, and it also means that we'll likely be a driving point for our budget in future years. Also within infrastructure is system administration and telecommunications. These folks manage all of the servers that we all rely on in order to do our businesses. They manage 493 total servers, 295 terabytes of data overall, and they have a very high success rate of keeping the primary systems that we rely on in order to be able to do our business available, with an uptime of 99.9% for SAP, Outlook, the website, and voice over IP, so the telecom system. Another number that always surprises me or kind of blows my mind is 9 million annual voice over IP calls go through our system every year. We do have also a decision package on the infrastructure side. This is to request additional funding for inflationary increases that we experience based on all of those IT contracts that we maintain and system hardware. As we go back in history, I'll be honest with you, this is honestly kind of a wild guess. A lot of our contracts with these software companies can, when they come to us every year, there's no set amount that they ask for from one year to the next year in maintaining that maintenance contract. Those contracts can go up 0% from one year, and the next year they can come to us and ask for a 5% increase. Going back a little bit in history, what we saw last year is that about $1.6 million of our total contracts increased by about 3.9%. So that's what we're requesting here for next year's budget. We also have another decision package in regards to IT security maintenance. This would be one-time funding, which would essentially continue to help us to maintain that IT security infrastructure that we currently have. Another department within DIO is ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning. Total budget of $2.1 million. These folks are responsible for maintaining the SAP system that is heavily used by departments and heavily used by finance and HR in order to conduct their business. Just to outline a few numbers for you, in the first quarter, SAP, the production system, was available 100% of the time. That's a good thing. Through finance, using SAP, 20,280 checks and ACH payments were issued. Through HR, 708 new hires were done in 2014. And some recent accomplishments for the ERP group include an automated mileage reimbursement form, the health attestation form that staff are using now, and some business intelligence efforts that are tied to the new budgeting system. Another department, and I believe the final department that we'll be talking about in DIO, is GIS. And as you know, they're the backbone of a number of systems that are used by appraisal, the tax system, clerk, and the 911 systems. But they provide mapping, analysis, and application development based on spatial data. Just to give you some ideas of the significance of some of their responsibilities, they have about 4 million geographic features that they have to maintain in that system. In the first quarter, the website had about 16,000 average monthly visits trying to capture GIS data. They maintain 13 geospatial applications, and the GIS data has a number of integrations into different types of systems that rely on that GIS data in order for that software to do its work, and that's just outlined there for you on the screen. Some of you have seen the crime application that the GIS folks put together earlier this year. And this is just a quote about something that we're kind of striving for, not just in GIS, but through DIO in total. And the whole reason we exist is to try and make everyone's work a little bit easier and their jobs a little bit more efficient. And this was a quote from a sheriff's captain in which, after this crime app became available, he outlined that the metrics that the sheriff would often ask for related to crime in the community would take him about a day to put together. But with this application, he was able to get that down to about 10 minutes. So that's a pretty amazing thing. We do have a revenue package that we've submitted for consideration in GIS. And this is modeled off of, as far as I know, the only county that does this, which is Johnson County, which is to charge individuals who capture GIS information off of their website a fee in order to capture that information. And what we would be proposing as a consideration is John has about 21 different data layers within the GIS system, and we would be proposing a potential charge on the 5 data layers that are predominantly used or captured by the public. And those fees would range anywhere from $150 for the capture of 1 data layer all the way down to $50 for the capture of 1 data layer, as well as $30 for a square foot of aerial photos that someone may capture off of our website. I don't want to mislead anyone in the sense that if this type of revenue or fee was adopted, the folks that most likely would be paying this fee would be developers, construction companies, and architects. They're the ones who predominantly are capturing that type of information off of our website.
When you say capturing off our website, what are you talking about exactly?
They are going to our GIS portal, and they are downloading that data layer for them to use in their own system. And John, if you'd like to say anything, if I stated anything wrong there.
That's absolutely correct. We provide various data layers that are used predominantly by that community and others as in a file format that they can download and plug into their own software and application.
What are the layers you're talking about? You said 5 layers.
Give me just one moment, Coach.
And Commissioners, you can find that list on page 153 of your budget finder as well.
153.
And probably even more easily on 154.
So if you turn to page 154 at the very top, starting with row 2 and then going down to row 6, that outlines the 5 of the 21 data layers that we would be looking at charging for. It outlines for you the price that we were thinking about proposing as a fee. And then in column D, it outlines for you the number of times that that type of information was downloaded. And then over to the right, furthest to the right, the amount of projected revenue that that would generate. Now, in John, in doing his estimates, there is an expectation that if we were to do this, that fewer people would be going to our website in order to capture that information. So he's discounted the expectation of collections by about 50%.
Okay. Thank you.
And finally, just to outline for you some of the upcoming challenges that we kind of see for DIO. One challenge for us on the operations side, the non-IT side of DIO, is the print shop. We have a print shop because we provide good customer service, and we believe that we provide that service at a lower cost than it could be outsourced. And that's something that we continue to watch, because if those dynamics change, then the discussion about having an internal print shop may change also. Postage cost increases. Over the federal government or the Postal Service has had a history over the last 4 years of increasing postage costs. That has a significant impact on us. Maintaining those handle rate targets in the call center of 90%, we stay very focused on that. And then on the records side, Doug King and Records Management is working on how we transition even more to electronic records as our official record for documents in the county, trying to minimize those physical record costs and shifting over to the electronic system that we currently possess. On the IT side, I'm not sure. No, I guess it is my phone. I apologize. It's actually my wife. We'll just kind of set that aside.
You better stop and answer that one.
I'll pass that on to her when she gets mad at me. So on the IT side, an issue for us is, in the sense of IT talent, the IT market for personnel is very hot right now. So, attracting new talent is somewhat of a challenge for us. We're working to understand and know how we manage a rapidly changing IT landscape, along with the expectations that come with that from a variety of different departments that need our services for them to be successful. Another challenge for us is how we embrace these new mobile devices and the use of these devices, and how we can help departments with that. Project management, if you read much about projects in IT that fail, traditionally they fail because of very poor project management. And so we continue to concentrate more and more on how we emphasize those project management elements with the staff over at DIO. Another element of challenges before us are cloud services versus on-premise solutions, and how we balance that with both cost and security and what makes best sense for the county. We have a number of major upgrades that are coming before us for systems. The budgeting system has an upgrade coming up. The SharePoint side, or E-line, that a lot of us rely on for communication, has an upgrade coming up. We're currently working on upgrading 180 servers that are currently on a Windows 2003 operating system that is coming end of life, and we're upgrading that to a Windows 2012 operating system. The 911 CAD system has an upgrade that is coming up, along with the tax system. And we have a number of new system deployments that we're working on. A records management system in the Sheriff's Office, MAVCD, migrating the Hanson system from the city's data center over to the county's data center is a big project for us. The content management system for the website, like we mentioned before, is ahead of us. Corrections is currently working through requirements for replacement of a variety of different access data systems that they rely on to manage their detention facilities. For the Kronos or e-timesheet system, we have a module to implement there called Telestaff, which is for 24/7 operations, and basically that facilitates their scheduling processes. And along with that, we have the challenge of kind of developing departmental power users, people who know how to use these systems well and can help their colleagues use those systems well without necessarily always relying on IT for that expertise. In summary, we had decision packages that total $376,000, a revenue package for your consideration of $63,000, and overall budget of $12.5 million. I'd be happy to stand for any questions. And I apologize, I meant at the very beginning to introduce the folks who keep me out of a lot of hot water and who I'm very grateful for to choose to come to work every day. And just to recognize those folks, I have Peter Sawal from ERP, and he's standing in for Mike Helpers, the ERP director today. I have Roger Taylor, who's the Business Solutions Director, Wes Ellington, who's the Infrastructure Director, Greg Gann, who is standing in as the Operations Manager while that position is currently vacant, and John Rogers, who's over the GIS department. Sorry, now I'd be happy to stand for questions. My apologies.
Peter John.
Let me begin with just asking, on the presidential election side, you've got a request for $125,000, but I noticed this year we had funded about $32,000. Is $125 the total, or is it?
That's the additional.
That's the 125 in addition to the 32, because I saw the amounts per year.
That's the expected additional cost.
You're anticipating 125. Let me ask, of the 98 positions you've got, how many are vacant at this point?
I believe 5 are currently vacant, Commissioner.
Are they on the IT or the non-IT side?
There is 1 on the non-IT side, and the other 4 would be on the IT side.
Okay.
That's not correct. 2 are on the non-IT side, and the rest are on the IT side.
I don't think it would surprise anybody in your staff to know that unsolicited communications coming in via email for various hardware and software show up on my email every day, it seems like. But let me share, in the last year, the number that seemed to be tied into security have just almost an order of magnitude bigger that I've come in and received. And I was curious in terms of if there anything especially new or driven, because you mentioned the transition to a cloud environment. I know there's a lot of discussion there, but I'd like a little bit more information in terms of the trade-offs between cloud and non-cloud versus secure and the security trade-offs there.
Sure. Well, one security trade-off is that our data and everything that the public has entrusted us with to protect is now on someone else's infrastructure, and that infrastructure could be in Iowa, that infrastructure could be in California, in some cases that infrastructure can be overseas. So that's a security concern. And the cloud organizations will tell us that data is very secure, but it requires a level of trust with those organizations. There's a number of requirements for us in the sense of security. There is CACIJS, Kansas Criminal Justice Integration System, which ties to the federal laws in the sense of protecting criminal information on individuals, that we have to jump through a lot of hoops in order to make sure that information is secure, as well as HIPAA security. And I would tell you that Microsoft, and they're the only player that I know of right now, has come out with a cloud solution that they have branded as being CACIJS compliant. So those are things that we're looking at. The vendors will tell us that this is the cheapest option for us to move to. I continue, though, to see things where Microsoft's CFO is talking to Wall Street and saying, we're promoting this so heavily because we expect it to increase our revenues by 80% compared to what it otherwise would have been if people were just buying Microsoft Word and Excel and putting it on the desktop as opposed to using their cloud solution. So it's stuff that we're keeping our eye on. And it's still shaking out. You know, the concept of cloud is still fairly new for the biggest part. And one of my colleagues over in DIO has a famous saying that you don't always want to be on the bleeding edge because sometimes you'll bleed. So,
well, certainly there's advantages not to be the beta test site for the entire. Well, even if you were just the beta test site for the state of Kansas, would be scary enough for me as opposed to the country or the world. But I'm a little bit concerned when you say we may have data that's even in Iowa, let alone overseas. That may keep me up at night a little bit because I'm just. That's one of the factors that whenever the stories come out about there's been a data breach and X number of files and data information, one thing or another, has been exposed one way or another, and that's always something that's a concern. Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to make a couple of comments. I wanted to share with my colleagues up here that I did spend a fair amount of time this morning, I guess, touring the DIO umbrella of agencies that we just discussed. And I just wanted to say overall I'm very pleased with having you in your position, and I'm glad you're doing a great job in my opinion. I actually wrote down the names of the 5 guys across the back of the room before you told me. I had them here, I promise I did. I was going to say thank you for, I did, they're right there. And I just want to thank you for you guys sharing your ideas with me this morning. I did learn a lot without boring my colleagues. I answered a lot of my questions this morning, so I'm not going to ask those again. I just had one question again. I just wanted to can you remind me one more time, when was the call center concept created, and when was that started?
I believe that was back in 2005, 2006.
And before that happened, what was the method of handling calls to the county?
It was all dispersed. So the appraiser's office handled their own questions. The tag office handled their own questions. The treasurer's office handled their own questions. It wasn't centralized in a single place in which the public could call and get, all of their questions answered in one place if they were related to tax type of questions.
Okay. And I'll just tell you, I had about a dozen takeaways. I did make notes of those this morning, or this afternoon when I got back to the office, and so I think the tour was very valuable to me, and I'm sure I'll be considering these items as we go forward. But I want to say thank you again for what you do and for allowing me to see all that personally today.
Well, I have the easy job. I'm like Commissioner Ranza. I'm just the pretty face while those guys do all the hard work.
Tell that to the mayor.
Yeah.
I think that's all, Dave.
Thank you.
I don't even know how to follow up on that one. Okay. Our next presentation, and actually our final presentation, is the County Manager's Office, and that will be on page 22 of your binders. And
Man, awesome. Good afternoon, Commissioners. You have in front of you the PowerPoint, and I'll go through it. The mission clearly is to continue to try to provide quality public service that provides for the present and future well-being of citizens of Sedgwick County, trying to provide efficient, responsive support to the Board of County Commissioners and effective administration of the organization. We had the departments included Manager's Office, Communications and Community Initiatives, and ADA. What we've done is try to let you know that we try to do program and policy initiatives, ensure direction. We assure that the public is getting quality services, increase awareness about county issues, prepare the annual budget, develop it, provide videos and graphics and photographic support, do a communications plan and response models, do internal organization, communication, comprehensive legislative platform agendas, and communicate with other elected officials, coordinate management internship program, and the ADA administration. The budget, as you can see, from 2015 is proposed to 2016 is less. It is driven by the capital improvements in the ADA program that were going to be accomplished this year and none for next year. $371,000 of that is due to the ADA, 371 less, 353,663 is due to the ADA, and we can capture 17,528 salary savings from the lobbyist position that we filled with the government relations firm rather than a full person. And we have no admission revenue packages or decision packages. If there's any questions, Jill Tinsley will be happy to answer.
Any questions, Commissioners, for the manager? I don't see any.
Thank you.
It's your last chance, Bill.
Thank you.
all right, Commissioners, that concludes our presentations. We have scheduled an hour and a half for discussion about maybe what you've heard, any direction or guidance or additional work you need done. So I'll turn it over to you.
Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments?
We'll be around to visit you.
Yeah, I think we still have a few questions, requests for information now, but outside of that, I think you'll probably come by and visit us, I guess. That's it?
But we have a workshop scheduled.
We do. Next Wednesday, we have a total compensation workshop scheduled to discuss kind of all the elements and things that have been brought up previously. So we've got 2 hours for that. I believe it's 1 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 next Wednesday, excuse me.
Okay.
Very good. Look forward to that. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
We're adjourned for this year. Thank you.
Yeah.